And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It's nearing the end of June 2025. Hope you're having a good day. Lots to talk about. Man, oh man, there is a lot of jello moving on the plate. There is a lot of news across the country and across the world. We will cover it all. But first, if you do not get this radio show in your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our Twitter feed, which is now X. And if you don't follow us on X, you should. And, of course, if you want to email us, just be nice. And in case you don't know, this is serious talk about everything that affects you. The economy, your job, your industry, Iran, Israel, war, nuclear war, and all that crap. Ceasefires. But them markets. And we hope you have been listening. We have been highlighting the better markets. We have actually given you out certain numbers that if price gets taken out to the upside, well, we got a little bit of that today. But I want to first start out with the news, if you don't mind. We have been doing the markets right out of the get-go, but we want to do the news because it's so vital. Yesterday after the close, we heard there was going to be a ceasefire, and throughout the night we're hearing more firing of missiles back and forth, and we're wondering, where is the ceasefire? But it looks like as of this second, there is some sort of ceasefire going on. There are no missiles going up, back and forth. That remains to be seen. I'd like to say I'm hopeful. Let me just state, remains to be seen. The other big news, it is something that we have warned you about. We have warned you about something called overpromising and underdelivering. It is something we have told you about, overselling. Do you know what that is? Well, we'll see how this plays out. Reports are, even though the president came out and said our attack on their nuclear obliterated them, destroyed them, that's it for them and their nuclear capabilities. We blew them up to smithereens. That part I'm paraphrasing. It has come out today. And of course, we'll find out in due time that the strike by the United States on Iran's nuclear program did not destroy the core components of the nuclear program and only set it back a few months versus what the president said, obliterated. We warned you that day, or about that day. We're big believers here of under-promising and over-delivering. It's one of the things we taught our sons here. So we'll see how it plays out. Let's hope these reports are wrong. But it's coming out of U.S. Central Command. Now, the Defense Secretary has come out with a statement saying their own U.S. Central Command doesn't know what the hell they're talking about. I'm paraphrasing that also. We'll see. We'll see. We are just feeling better that Hezbollah is no longer doing anything. Hamas has been pretty much destroyed. And hopefully their nuclear capability by these scumbags in Iran is shot to hell. We just don't know at this point. We're just letting you know the big news. It's been a very eventful time. We have said to you, even before all this blew up, it is the most news-driven environment we have ever been in. And it is because, and by the way, this is not a put down, but I'm just letting you know, it is because this president is quite the active president. Between the tariffs and God only knows what comes with that next, because that 90-day window is up July 9th. We'll see. But that's the big story today. The other little story I'm reading, and I have not confirmed it yet, is that maybe Lebanon and somebody else may join the Abraham Accords. Interesting. That would be terrific also. Anyway, from the press secretary, this alleged assessment is flat out wrong and was classified as top secret, but was still leaked to CNN by an anonymous, low-level loser in the intelligence community. The leaking of this alleged assessment is a clear attempt to demean President Trump and discredit the brave fighter pilots who conducted a perfectly executed mission to obliterate Iran's nuclear program. Everybody knows what happens when you drop 14 30,000-pound bombs perfectly on their targets. Total obliteration. Okay. Let's do this. Let's cheer for the good guys, and let's hope it's correct. Interesting how it's always CNN that comes out with negative when it comes to anything this president does. I must tell you, when the ceasefire was announced, I turned it on. They looked depressed. Seriously. The people on CNN, they look depressed. Huh. Okay, we move on. So, ladies and gentlemen, the peeps, we have been simply telling you as of late, regardless of the news, good or bad, the market was set up to go higher. And what do we mean by set up to go higher? Well, we've always explained to you, in order to go higher, there has to be a setup for it. What do we mean by that? Well, a stupid analogy. If you are in Miami on A1A and you want to go drive to New York, well, A1A is not going to take you all the way to New York, so you have to go a little bit west to I-95 and then turn north. And that'll take you up to New York. That's the setup to get you to New York. Well, in order for stocks to go higher, they have to set up to go higher. What do we mean by that? Well, they just don't happen by accident. Prices have to, what we call stair step. And they set up in these patterns that have great success from them. And we call them flat action. What does that mean? Oh, things trading between 2 points for a good period of time and then break above that range. What else is another setup? The stair steps. Up 3 steps, back 1.5. Up 3 steps, back 1.5. In other words, trend up. Well, we've been telling you recently the market had rallied up because the president got rid of the tariff, so we have V-shaped up, and things have been better. What has been missing is a lot of new yearly highs. That's because of all the damage that was done. But we had said to you that the indices, the big indices, were getting close, and if they did indeed move out of range, that's going to bring a lot of stocks with it. And yesterday, I believe the last 2 days, we actually gave you some physical numbers that if the indices break above that range, it would be very good news. And today, we got that. Now, does that mean it's going to be successful. What we mean by that, are we going to get continuation? Is it going to continue to go higher? Well, we'll see. Odds favor, it works because when you see indices, which are a lot of stocks, that's strength. If they tuck their head in like a frightened turtle, that'll be another story. But the S&P, NASDAQ 100, we'll go through the numbers up next on Investor's Edge. So, the first number on the S&P 500, the high of the last couple of weeks was 60.59. Well, we closed at 60.92 today. We broke above that. Where is the next stop? Well, the big one. The old highs of February, which is 61.47. So good day for the S&P. We'll get to the numbers in a minute. The NASDAQ needed to get above 19,800. We gave you that number yesterday. We finished at 19,912 today. So we moved above it. Does that mean it sticks? No. But odds favor, there's a good chance it will. The NASDAQ 100, we gave you the number, and that would have been 22,041. We closed at 22,190 today. Strong move today. And interesting enough, NASDAQ 100 did that strong move without Apple. It was down a buck and change, and is still having trouble. The Dow. Well, as we have told you, we're not giving a lot of credence to the Dow because it's much weaker than everything, and that's because of United Health, which is down about 2,000 Dow points with all the trouble they have. But even the Dow had a strong day today and is trying. And we'll go over the Dow names in a little bit. But the Dow is up 507, the S&P 67, NASDAQ 281, NASDAQ 100 334, transports 277, advanced declines were good. The Russell 2000, almost above range. Keep in mind the small caps are much weaker than the large caps, and we've been telling you that forever. Strength today. The banks, the financials, the semiconductors. What did we tell you about the semis? If the SOX breaks above 53.02, closed at 54.41, almost up 200 points today. A huge move. And what do we tell you is the two most important areas of the market? Well, it's the semis and the banks / financials. So they had a really good day today. Does it guarantee further? No. What do odds favor? Probably. We take it day by day here. On top of that, you're just getting more participation, good leadership, good tone. We do know tomorrow's another day. We do know anything's possible. But in order to go higher, you have to move higher. Duh. In order to go higher, you got to keep breaking above certain levels. And I will tell you, if we break into new high ground, a chance for some decent smooth sailing to the upside. That is how it works. New highs usually beget new highs. That's how it goes. New yearly highs. JP Morgan in the Dow closed at new yearly highs today. All-time highs. Goldman Sachs, no, but getting close. These are of import. Big time. And even some of the weaker financials woke up. State Street Bank. That's at new yearly highs. That's just an investment manager. These are the type of things we want to see. And then the semis. Just a nice, strong day, pretty much across the board. Broadcom got upgraded today, was up $10. Good chart in there. NVIDIA still lagging, but trying to get to the old highs. ASML Holdings broke above a bottoming range today with a little decent volume, and I can go on in semiconductor land. KLAC up 32. Just good stuff. Good stuff. And of course, as things get better, the new high list picks up. That's where your leadership is. Economically sensitive stuff, strong. United Rentals has been weak. That moved above some resistance today. That's an important name to us. Caterpillar, our second most important, moved above some resistance today. This is what we want to see. If anything changes, we'll let you know, but very good day. And what some of the outcomes today? Unbelievably, oil prices down another $3.50 yesterday. They're down like 13% from yesterday. Unbelievable. And you know what that tells me? The rally up in oil in the previous 5 or 6 days was the bet. Big trouble in the Middle East. And now, they're not touching the Strait of Hormuz, and oil prices have cratered the past couple of days. And I must tell you, surprise, if you ask me, that is stunning. Best way I can put it. Stunning. Oil prices that far down that quick. Then again, it was that far up that quick. Let me repeat, there are no guarantees. Moving above range, not a guarantee. News-driven environment, who the hell knows what's next? All we can tell you, ceasefire had futures up, then they're bombing each other again, and futures didn't come down. That was pretty weird. What else? So oil stocks were weak today. Recession-resistant stuff was weak today. The food, beverage, and all that. Gold was weak today. But I did notice gold held back right at the 50-day moving average. That's the place it would hold. Just like Bitcoin yesterday held right at the 50-day moving average. These are vital areas of support levels that markets, stocks, sectors seek out on pullbacks. And if it's going to continue to be a bullish phase, they hold, they turn up, and away it goes. So I'd like to complain. It was just a good day. And if we can take out the old highs, even better. We took out a little bit of resistance. Actually, we took out some important resistance today. Needs to stick the landing. As I look at my weak screen, had a good day. If the weakest names are coming on, that puts a floor under the market. So, I repeat, tomorrow's another day, but very nice day today. Up next, what else? And whatever. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. What else? The 10-year yield down again today. Good. And as we said, oil prices down again, big time today. Very good. There's all this talk by the president that Jay Powell sucks. And he's a horror show and needs to be fired, and he's an idiot and he's a moron. I abhor the president acting like me. I can come on this show and call Jay Powell a moron. The President of the United States should not. But then again, what does he care what I think? Anyway, we're just letting you know the President is in the wrong. There's been nothing wrong with what Jay Powell has done lately. The fact that he has done nothing is actually a good thing. Why? Because the market says so. He's at 4.25%. The 10-year yield is at 4.29. Now, can he cut? Does he have room? Sure. But the President of the United States was saying he should cut 2 or 3 points down to basically 0%. That's insane. And let me tell you, if the President hires somebody who kisses his butt next year, and this guy comes in and does his bidding, what Donald Trump's going to do is bring back the 8, 9, 10% inflation, because that's what caused it, the inflation. It was Jay Powell printing to $9 trillion. The President of the United States does not have a clue, not a clue, about what drives the bus. And if I had his ear, I would say, Mr. President, don't piss on prosperity. The markets are calm. The markets are stable, and we're talking bond market. This is good news. Too much of him could cause distortions. If you want him to cut rates, fine, but it is insane to cut down to 1%. You are going to cause all kinds of trouble when you fight the markets. Remember how right we were when Jay Powell was fighting the markets as the 10-year yield was spiking, and he sat there like a doofus, and he and Janet Yellen and Joe Biden, there's no inflation. And then it showed up, and they told us it was transitory while the markets were screaming at them. And guess what he ended up having to do? Play catch up. We don't want to get into that position again, and I can tell you, President Trump will put us in that position again if he brings somebody in that is not independent and will just do everything he says. I get it. Presidents want the easiest money possible. Easiest money possible always causes big, big problems. Look what it did in 2008. It almost took down the financial system. Look what it did in 21-22. Massive inflation. It will happen again. Of course, even if I had his ear, he would tell me to go screw. Why? He thinks he's omnipotent. He can do no wrong. Ego. We all have it. Well, let's hope he remembers he caused the market crash because of his tariffs, which hopefully never come back again. But back on the markets, very good day. No complaints. Next thing up is they're trying to get the bill for July 4th. The big, beautiful bill that sucks. It's big, all right. Massive debt and deficits as far as the eyes can see. Oh well. I'm pretty sure they'll end up passing something. We'll end up going to $50 trillion of debt. As I've said time and time again, let's just hope the bond market never wakes up and says, holy you know what, and all of a sudden we're seeing 10% mortgages. And do not think that won't happen. It could. What else did we see today? As I mentioned, gold, I think it's just range bound in good stead, held where it needed to hold today. Foreign markets, which were getting weak, they're coming back on. If you go look at the emerging markets, EEM, really good day. And I got to tell you, I'm going to write that down as I sit here, ladies and gentlemen. The FXI, which is China, pretty good day also. I'm writing that one down also. By the way, the Israeli market, new yearly highs while they're being bombed. Quite interesting. We live in quite the times, ladies and gentlemen. And we're getting email after email. How is the market going up with all this going on? And we just say because it wants to. Remember, oil prices plunging, yields coming down, markets are usually happy with that. Then you have this AI trade, which has come back to life after crashing into April. And that is also a help also. And I must add, we've had some hot IPOs come out. Gets the juices flowing. So that too is going on right now. And by the way, you put back the 2,000 points for United Health, and I can safely tell you the Dow would be near highs also. But of course, everything does count. In fact, yeah, just about the highs. Everything counts, though, in the Dow. Big moves in the Dow today. American Express a little bit above range. Goldman up $15 as we mentioned. Visa bounced after getting hit recently on some news. That was up 7 or 8. Salesforce.com, very weak software stock, up 7 and change. Caterpillar 6. But Apple down again. Dang. Apple is a real weak stock. That is a big wow. Then again, valuations up in the trees and growth. It's very tough to grow businesses at that level. And there's been a lot of talk. What does Tim Cook did differently? What has he created? He just more and more iPhones. Anyway, that's a weak stock, and we don't own any on purpose because we don't own stocks that are in bear markets or in downtrends with bad relative strength. We only want to own great, strong stocks with great, strong earnings and sales. It is a rare occasion when we deviate from that. Very rare. Aftermarket, FedEx, the only thing coming out, and their numbers weren't very good. Stock's down $10. And FedEx has been a weak stock anyhow. Let's see, yeah. It's been very, very weak and won't have a good morning tomorrow. Not a lot of earnings this week. I believe Micron is tomorrow. We'll get a General Mills whoopee-doo and a Paychex. Anything else this week? Oh, Nike later in the week. That's a down name. And that's a company that needs lots of help. Probably the worst not United Health is worse, but Nike is gone in the last year. Well, by the way, the all-time high was December of 21 at $179. It's $61 now. Yeah, don't worry. Just think long term. Isn't that what they tell us? What do we tell you? Think long term. Just make sure what you own is working long term. Up next, what else? News of the day, much more. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. Winston is sitting right here asleep while I'm doing the show. As we've told you, Winston's now 13, has aggressive cancer, but he had that 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, and he's been great. But I can tell you he's not able to hear as well now. He sleeps a lot more. So I'm paying a lot of attention to my Winston. You know, all you dog lovers and that have dogs, this dog is my shadow. Everywhere I go. If I take 3 steps, he takes 3 steps and stops. If I take 10 steps, 10 steps and stops. Hope he lives to 20. I know that's not happening. In the news, well, we have warned you in the past about SPACs, special purpose acquisition companies. A lot of scams, a lot of bull crap, a lot of losses. People became billionaires foisting that crap onto you. Do you remember they all started merging with electric vehicle companies, and they never even produced an electric vehicle? Just a bunch of scumbags. Oh, well, we're not going to say this one's a scumbag, but you know Alex Rodriguez, right? He did a SPAC called Slam Corp. It raised $575 million. It's down to $4.4 million. After 3 rounds of redemptions, now Slam is suing its merger target, breached its obligations. What do we tell you? These SPACs got a lot of scumbags involved. Just letting you know in the news. In the news, I'm sure you're seeing a bunch of lefty Democrats. We can't stand any of them. I got to tell you, Fetterman, amazingly, has become the normal guy. He's Mr. Logic. Anyway, you see how they're all complaining? Just remember, they're full of crap about Trump and doing what he did in Iran, saying it was unconstitutional. They're full of crap. Bernie Sanders, full of crap. Chuck Schumer, full of crap. All of them full of crap. Do you know Barack Obama dropped 26,172 bombs in 7 countries during his 8 years, and there was not one single vote in Congress on that? In fact, at the time, they said it was nuanced foreign policy. Just, that's in the news for me. We just want you to remember this. We just want you to remember this, because it nauseates the hell out of us. You would think maybe, during this time, just back it up. You don't have to praise, just shut up. But no, lie to the American public, just like you've been lying to them for years about the debt and the deficits and the spending by your wonderful Joe Biden. Strait of Hormuz. Just so you know, the Iranian parliament did approve the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, but guess what happened? Just want to make sure you know what's going on. China told you, Iran, you're not shutting the Strait of Hormuz. Just so you know, China's very generous to Iran, and Iran knows that they can't piss off China, so they did not close it, and believe me, they wanted to. We're just letting you know how things work. In fact, China made the announcement from their foreign ministry that the Strait of Hormuz will not be shut down. Just letting you know how things work out there. China's got, whatever. I did also want to mention Bill Clinton bombed Afghanistan and Sudan. Bush in Iraq. I can go on and on. have a memory. Remember, these liars in D.C. are in hopes that you're not paying attention and you don't have a memory. Last but not least in the news, the mayoral election, I guess the primary tonight. Do you know there's a guy running that he may be ahead in the polls over this guy Cuomo, and he's calling for getting rid of police. He's total anti-Semite, racist anti-Semite, wants government-run supermarkets. No, really. Government-run supermarkets, government-run everything. You know how people are called socialists, Marxists? This guy is a communist. And I mean that. And I don't use that as a pejorative. And he's leading Cuomo. That tells you how unpopular Cuomo is. The guy's a communist. Or it also tells you what kind of morons are in New York City voting. Go read this up. Because I got news for you. You get a communist running New York City, which is a big engine of this country. Holy crap-o-matic. All I know is he's leading in the polls as they go to tonight. And that is all. By the way, Obama authorized 542 drone strikes, killing an estimated 3,797 people, including 324 civilians. No Congress. I just like telling you these things. Because just remember, they don't give a crap about you. None of them do. And that's how you get the $37 trillion of debt going to 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. But back on point and circling back, just good day in the market. I'll take one day like this every month. That would be nice. Until tomorrow, you'll have a great evening. Drive carefully. Hope you've been writing down those numbers. And when you get home, do like we do. Quite simple. Make sure you hug your family. Make sure you hug your children. They will feel better. You will feel better. I promise. Stay well. Be well. Thanks for joining. Peace out, all. Good night.